So welcome to our 13th annual Communication Alumni Panel that is appropriately being held on Friday, October the 13th. So some of these alums are repeaters. They have been on the panel before, some for years, but I won't tell you which ones unless they divulge that information. But others are first-time participants in our panel, and we like to bring together our alumni during homecoming week to meet students, to meet you, and to share their stories about what you can do with a communication degree. These alums have taken their degrees and done a variety of different activities, jobs, positions, etc., and you're going to hear about them. So I'm going to pass the microphones down, and they will, one at a time, share their stories with what they've done so far with their communication degree, and then we will take questions at the end. So thank you. Alumni, please introduce yourself if you want to share when you graduated, and just tell your story, your wonderful stories. Thanks.
Do I hold both up or just one? Oh, okay. Wow, this is strange. My name is Clara Enriquez. I am the Strategic Communications Coordinator for SOAR. That's a nonprofit. Their headquarters is just down the street from here. But I work remotely, so that's what I love to do, just work remotely, move anywhere I go. So my long title basically means I just do all the communications, advertising, marketing, and social media for the organization that I work for. That's a lot of hats for one person, but that's not unexpected in a nonprofit work. And I graduated May of 2020, I believe. I'm just going to pass it down.
Hey there, I'm Elizabeth Thompson, and I work at the Pikeville Police Department. I'm the Police Records Administrator. I graduated in 2012, and basically I handle the whole business side of the police department. So I do the budgeting, the orders, the uniforms, but I also manage our social media page, and then a lot of the community outreach programs that the police department and our first responders in the city of Pikeville do.
Figure this out. I'm Buddy Forbes. I am a reporter for WYMT. I'm the Big Sandy Bureau Chief, so basically I cover Pike, Floyd, Martin, Magoffin, Johnson, Lawrence counties. I think that's all of them. I'm just a reporter, pretty much. We write stories, we report stories, we edit stories. There's a lot of other stuff that goes with it. I probably deal with almost everyone in this panel on a day-to-day basis and bug them very often, so that's just part of my job.
Hello everyone, I'm Jamie Young. I graduated in May of 2022. Currently, I work at a college in Virginia called Emory and Henry College. I work there as an area coordinator of housing and residence life, which essentially means I supervise around 400 students who reside within our residential buildings. I serve in an on-call rotation for a little bit over 1,200 students who reside on campus. One thing about my job that I enjoy is no day is the same. Anything can happen at any moment, so I appreciate the spontaneous aspect of it.
Hi, my name is Savannah Sparks. I graduated in 2023, which was this year. I work at Ramey East Step Rehome and Regroup in Rush, Kentucky. Essentially, I'm a community liaison, so I help people in the community get in touch with the services that we offer people, which is we offer foster care. So either it's getting people to be foster parents or helping children in the system get foster parents. And then the other part is substance use disorders, so people who suffer from drug addiction or alcohol, like things like that. We have residential services and like therapy and clinicians and stuff to help them. And then, so like I said, I just tie those people into it and I get them the information. A lot of my job consists of like going out in the community, meeting with people, going to events, talking to people about it, because a lot of people in our communities don't know that it's a thing, and a lot of people could benefit from the services that we offer, so, yeah.
My name is Jerry Farley. I graduated, I don't remember the month, I wasn't sober, 2002. I am currently an insurance agent in Titusville, Florida. I have used my degree to be a case manager, reluctantly ran for office. I've published 2 novels. It's pretty much open-ended. Anything that you would want to do, this degree allows you to.
So my name is Blake Maupin, and I also graduated in 2023. Actually, Savannah and I had class together. This is my first year being here for the COM alumni panel. I remember sitting in the seats that you guys was and are now. It makes me feel old that I'm speaking at this and not writing a paper for extra credit for this event. But I am getting my MBA in Strategic Communications, which is, I guess I'll be the second class to go through there. Dr. Massner and JR highly recruited me to go that route. And I work in the advancement office, which is on the first floor of the admin building where the president's office is. And yes, it's the office that sells orange cards. I know that that's often what's associated with. So.
My name is Aaron Asbury. I used to work at Mountaintop Media before it had the name. I worked at Pike TV, and right now I work at Apple Shop, a nonprofit organization focusing on media making and storytelling in the mountains since the war on poverty. I used to teach students how to make documentaries. We used to teach kids how to make movies, but now I moved into a role where I am the visual communications manager for Apple Shop. So I focus on movie distribution, trying to get our movies on TV, trying to get more movies made with the film director, and also focusing heavily on the social media for Apple Shop.
Hi, my name is Erica Sisk. I graduated in May of 2022. I started work at a bowling center close to home as a youth director. I did a lot of the recruiting for the kids. I did a lot of the media management for the program and taking care of a lot of the kids. I was given the opportunity to come back here and be a graduate assistant for the bowling team, so I'm currently getting my MBA in strategic communication. And it's been great. This degree has given me a lot of opportunities for a lot of different things, and it can open a lot of doors for all of you.
Hey, good morning. My name is Dalton Stevens. I graduated in 2016. I've been on the COM alumni panel many times now. This is probably my 5th or 6th time anyways. I definitely try to come back and tell all my different walks of life, different things that I've done. When I left college, I went and worked for Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and then moved into their commercial trucking division. Left there, went and worked for my buddy Ryan Hall at Hall Enterprises. This was a marketing agency that specialized in digital marketing, and he made a lot of YouTube videos and things like that. So we worked with him for a couple years, and now I actually own my own company called Stevens Media Services. Our company specializes in digital marketing and multimedia production. So we do photography, videography, short commercials for businesses, things along those lines. We also do long-form content, much like what the Apple Shop does. We do documentary work, things along those lines. We try to help out local nonprofits in a lot of different ways to expand their reach and to let people know about their story and what they're trying to accomplish. So yeah, I've done a lot of different things with my communication degree, and you'll notice probably a common theme among a lot of us now is social media management and posting on social media, doing digital media, a lot of photo, video stuff to help businesses grow. That seems to be more the track that we're moving toward with our communication degree. So yeah.
My name is Whitney Justice, and I'm a 2009 graduate from Pikeville College. So I think I had one other one not graduated as late as I have. So after graduation, I went to work at Pikeville Medical Center and was a public relations specialist. I was there for 6 or 7 years, and then I had the opportunity to move back home to Whitesburg, where I'm from. So I am the marketing director for Double Quick. I've been there for roughly 8 years. In my role, we get to do a variety of things, work on pricing for coming up with new food items that you all see late night in our stores. I'm sure you're all there. I brought you all a pizza roll coupon because I get to do that as well. So I know y'all enjoy that. So it's really fun to do your advertising, see what's really happening, see what people are doing on apps and on website, and as Dalton and everyone else has said, how important social media is now.
Nothing fires me up like a Double Quick pizza roll. But my name's Lance Tackett. I graduated in the winter of 2020, so pretty much right in the middle of COVID. I'm a teacher at Martin County High School. I teach 9 through 12. I teach a class called JAG, which is Jobs for America's Graduates, and I also teach journalism. JAG is a school-to-work transition program that helps students with their leadership skills, teamwork skills, and we do a lot in our community. The communication degree really, honestly, JAG is a class that pretty much helped me when I got here with my communication degree because it's all about presentations, it's all about public speaking. I love what I do. I love interacting with the students. The classes that you'll take as a communication major will help you not only in if you want to be a teacher, but also in any profession. And obviously, I'm kind of the last in line here, but you've heard so many great different occupations that these awesome alumni have. And also, this is my third time on the alumni panel. My first time was virtual. Last year, I showed up. I was about 2 minutes late. I tried to be on time today. But yeah, if you have any questions for me about teaching, my path there, I could talk about it all day, but I don't want to take too much time away from everybody else. But yeah, that's pretty much my story. Don't be scared. Yeah, we're already in debt. Like we're so far in debt. So.
Okay, so how about what classes did you take that have been most beneficial for you later?
I love that. So as a JAG teacher, we do a lot of social media posts because obviously it is a nonprofit that puts programs into schools across 39 different states in the country. So obviously we want to promote our program. Desktop publishing was one that helped me a lot because obviously it helps with design. Advanced public speaking, really almost every class that I have. Actually, I'll tell you a funny story. We're doing public speaking and speeches in my class right now. So I actually was able to log into my Canvas. Don't know how my phone saved my Canvas password for this long. But I logged in and I found some old outlines that I'd written for Rachel Little's advanced public speaking class. And I gave those out to the kids to let them know how to write an outline. And we went through the whole thing, the anatomy of writing a speech. So thank goodness it's actually going to help me a lot this year now that I have my old material to use to show the kids. But every class that I had on that list truly made an impact on how it makes it easier for me to teach my class.
I think I have 2 different classes, and I'm not sure if you all still do internships, but the internship class for me, actually being out in the work world and seeing how things happen was very beneficial to me because marketing is so broad. Advertising is so broad. There's so many different aspects to it that, you just have to get into it and learn as you go a little bit. The other one for me was definitely important is interpersonal communication. In my leadership roles that I've been in now, everyone has different personalities, I'm sure. I see some sports players up there. I played basketball here at UPIKE many years ago, and you have to learn how to communicate with the people within your organization to help yourself get where you need to go and to make them around you better and make things easier for the company.
And yeah, so to echo what Whitney was saying, for me, probably one of the more helpful classes that I took was interpersonal communication when I was here. It taught me, the majority of my job is in sales, even though I'm a business owner and, I actually do a lot of the videography and the photography and all the camera work for our company. One of my main jobs is to get people to work with us, right? So being able to analyze different personality types and being able to align yourself with the person you're sitting across from is invaluable in any role that you're going to be in your life. You need to be able to get along with people very easily. You need to be able to talk with them very easily. So interpersonal communication taught me that. And then obviously the next thing after that was, I think it was mass media was the name of the class. We learned a lot about different types of media on the internet and different types of social media presence and, things like that. So, obviously that played a huge role in what we're doing now. Especially with all these new emerging social media platforms. TikTok didn't exist, when we were in college, which I know seems crazy to a lot of you guys. you know, it was Facebook and Instagram was the real big thing back then, but it's always an ever-evolving thing, right? Like Threads is the new thing now for a lot of people to use in place of Twitter. So you always have to be able to adapt and overcome these things, and the coursework here gives you a head start to kind of anticipate how the world's going to change and, you know, how dynamic everything is when it comes to that type of stuff.
So I think what was most beneficial for me as far as coursework is probably the one that everybody hates the most, was public speaking. It helped me to do something that I was very uncomfortable doing and helped me to kind of be confident in myself and to overcome, as well as teach me a lot of skills that I've used a lot since I've graduated. I've noticed since I started working at the bowling center at home before I came here, I had a lot of opportunities where I had to be able to communicate with a variety of different people because I was always recruiting and trying to get more people to come to my center. So being able to have that confidence in talking to people and being confident speaking out was probably the most beneficial to me, even though I hated it the most.
I think I only graduated in 2018, but I'm still having a hard time remembering what classes I even took. I remember doing them, but I don't remember what they were called, so that's a fun time. But there were different ones that helped me with different things. Like I said, I used to work in news. I'm no Buddy Forbes, but I did go out on the field trying to gather news reports and videos and VOSOTs and whatnot. So the journalism classes really helped give me the confidence to go somewhere and just talk to someone. I still don't like doing that. I'm not a fan of public speaking either, but I took the class and I know how to do it well enough. But now in Apple Shop, I think early on, when I started at Apple Shop, I taught kids how to make movies, which I don't think there's a specific class we had that super does that, but it was watching Chandra and watching Andrew, because I'm also a film major, and learning from them on how to do that, even though I don't think I knew I was learning that. That really helped. And now, yeah, the mass media courses, as I'm moving into a more social media role, as well as film distribution and trying to learn how to talk to people and navigate a interesting world I wasn't previously a part of in terms of film deals and distribution agreements and all of that stuff. So different things will help you over the course of time. And as you've seen, everyone here has had like 5 or 6 different jobs all within the same field. So each class will probably help with a different thing.
Not to be too repetitive, but definitely mass media, just because of how prominent social media is in today's society, and I would say the majority of our lives, for sure, especially at the advancement office. It's an easy way to get communications out to alumni, trustees, donors, and such. And also public speaking. I know that that's a dreaded class, and a lot of people hate that class, but I can't tell you how important that is, because you need to be able to talk to people and you need to be able to represent yourself well, especially when you graduate, when you go for a job. It's going to be you in front of people, and one of an assignment, I'm sure that most of you guys remember this, but it's the elevator pitch. Essentially, you need to be able to market yourself. You know, why are you a good candidate? And those are really good skills. And if you don't do well in the interview, then the chances are you might not get the call back for the job. So I would definitely say that those were very influential and very beneficial classes.
Due to a very specific and unique situation, the most impactful and beneficial class I had was race, class, and gender. It allowed me to know how far I could push people to get them to speak when I was a case manager, and when to back off.
Really the only class that I can think of that was like really beneficial, I do a lot of newsletters for my work to get the people involved in the community. So the editing and design class was really helpful. I don't use Adobe, InDesign, but it helped a lot. I know how to make things look cute. And then also just like the basic communication classes that teach you like how to communicate and like the different relationships and how communication like differs between them. So, yeah.
Okay, so I'm definitely going to have two options. The first would be advanced public speaking, kind of copying Lance on that, but it's like during that course, literally you would go in front of the class, there would be a bag of items, and you would reach into the bag and like pull out random items, and you would have to stand there and tell a story. So looking back on it as a student, I was like, okay, this is interesting. You know, I really didn't understand the assignment at that time, but now after graduating, it really taught you how to like think fast on your feet and like be able to adapt to any situation. And then the second option would be interpersonal communication. So within my field, I place students where they will be living for like the next year of their life. So, and potentially the next 2 years of their life. And so with that placement, obviously that's something they're very passionate about, something their parents are very passionate about. So being able to maneuver through that conflict management, if anything arises, is something I'm definitely thankful for that course taught me.
Much like Aaron, I can't really remember what the specific classes were because it's been a million years, and I never went to most of them anyway. We don't know how I got here. It's fine. But I've always been focused on journalism. That's true, yeah. So all of the journalism classes obviously were very impactful for me. I started out in print with the newspaper here in Pikeville and then transitioned into broadcast, which I never expected to do much later. So those journalism classes were very important. Public speaking obviously is important no matter which career you go into. But I kind of think that's the beautiful thing about these communication classes is you're not a communication worker. You take a job in so many different fields as you see here, and these classes tie into whatever it is that you're doing. So you take these pieces from each class and you kind of create whatever it's going to be that your job is. Like everyone here has worked so many different jobs and made them into kind of their own thing. And I think the entire field of communication and learning through these different classes is what teaches you how to do that.
I'm just going to echo Buddy, because we were talking about this prior to the panel. I was just like talking about our different jobs. It's like you could just get a job and make it your own, and that is what I have done my entire career. So I started at the newspaper, journalism classes, layout design, and started there. Those classes were very, very important to me. They got me in the foothold to work in like local city government. And from there, I have dabbled a little bit in every sector of government that you could probably dabble in. And so I've worked, economic development, marketing, websites, social media, budgets, the police department, city clerk. I've done it all with a communication degree. Oh, and I wrote a book, my children's book for the police department that I use as a fundraiser for our community outreach program. That's a shameless plug. And so, the journalism classes, layout design, and then I also want to emphasize if you've not considered studying abroad, you should, because I really do think that was a changing moment in my life and in my career. It really opened my mind and to, different cultures, different learning abilities. So if you get the opportunity to study abroad and do it in a communications course, I highly recommend it.
I'm just going to echo off of what everyone else said here. I'm also going to stand. I don't know if it's me. The chair is really uncomfortable, and I also don't like sitting for a really long time. But my favorite class or course would be where I was able to take each and every class and combine them all and make them into fruition, which is when I went to the Washington Center. I did the seminar twice, and I went to I did an internship with them through C-SPAN. So I was able to use all of the gifts and talents that I was able to be taught here, use them in the office, create something, write a press release, go to the senator's office and be like, hey, someone in your state won this award through C-SPAN. I literally wrote you a speech. And they're like, cool, great. I will be reading your speech. So it's like, oh my gosh, I wrote this and the senator's gonna read it in the House. Like that's a big deal. No one's gonna know about it. Which then came into then my first job, which was I was a news producer at WYMT, so Buddy and I know each other very well. So it's crazy how the communication degree could put you in a position you probably didn't know you're going to have, but you're able to adapt to it. And that's what we are. We're adaptable to wherever we're placed. If you didn't know already, I wasn't born and raised in Appalachia. I'm originally from San Diego. How I got here doesn't matter. What does matter is that each professor here literally invested themselves, encouraged me, and pushed me to use the skills that they saw something inside of me that they knew could become something great. And so I think that's what I'm trying to tell you is like, put yourself out there, make yourself uncomfortable, go study abroad, do these internship programs, because you will never know who is in the room with you and who in that room could potentially give you your future job. So network yourself like crazy. And what I mean by network, don't sell yourself, right? Don't be like, I do this, and this. Like, that's great. Tell me about who you are and why I should care about you. And that's how people are going to be like, I can see myself working with this person. And if you think that you're going to spend hours applying for a job on, people, Indeed or whatever, or you search for jobs online, and you apply to like 20 of them, that's not how you're going to get it. How you're going to get it is if you know someone. And if that somebody knows someone who then says, hey, is this a good person? It's like, hey, I had them as a student. I'm going to be honest with you. And believe me, people talk, all right? And so they will find out about you. Whether you think they don't know you, they will find a way. So, yeah, that's my word of advice.
Like with the courses or how I apply it within my life? Okay, so for public speaking, it was more of like you're going to do this speech, put this like PowerPoint into this. This is how you should design the PowerPoint. And then for advanced public speaking, we also dabbled with like, there was one assignment like where we split up into pairs and we debated one another on a topic. So it kind of dived further in depth into some types of public speaking that may honestly make you feel a little eternally awkward or uncomfortable. Well, push you outside of your comfort zone. It definitely pushed me outside of my comfort zone. I will say that within that course. Yeah, right. Well, you'll definitely apply yourself and your knowledge more within the advanced public speaking course than the original public speaking, but there's always growth found within being uncomfortable. So I would say definitely put yourself out there, take that course, and just find knowledge within the uncomfortable aspect of it. You're welcome.
I'll just follow up with some housekeeping there. So public speaking, the fundamentals class is COM 225. And the advanced public speaking that they're talking about, we have updated a little bit, but it's COM 425, and it's called Professional Speech Communication now. And it is geared towards putting you in speaking situations that are more professionally based. So the assignments are a little bit more in depth and encourages more growth, I think, like most of these alumni have said. So. We had another question up front.
Oh, okay. So did you find that your internship was helpful in a way that made you realize you did want to do whatever you did in your internship? Or did you find that, like, you really loved that, like, that place wherever you went, you know, like, within the field?
Who wants to talk on internship experiences?
I was in COVID. There was no internship during COVID, so bad. I did my internship at the Expo Center, and the Expo Center had not been open very long, so it was the coolest thing ever. I got to see Toby Keith and all these artists, and I had no idea that was the whole aspects of it. We worked with, I guess their agencies, and they came in to promote, and you got to see how all of that worked. Again, my internship made me think, oh my gosh, there's so much to this, you know. And when I was doing it,
as Dalton and some other people had said, there was just Facebook. When I was doing it, I had to be in college to have Facebook. Okay, that tells my age. I'm sorry, guys. But so it's progressed so much more since then. I have interns at Double Quick, so anybody ever interested, Chandra can send you my way. Would love to have interns. And I think they feel the same way. They're like, oh, you work on pricing. You get to see things in a different avenue than you do. I have friends who have worked internships and been like, this is not for me, and changed their major. I think it's why it's so good. But the cool thing about a communication degree is you can do so much, right? I have a minor in business. I could go to the business world instantly and pick up on that. Or, your writing skills make you so valuable to do other things. So I do feel like that's one of the best parts about a communication degree because it is so broad. You can do event planning or, advertise. There's so many different options. Or, as Buddy and some of them have been in journalism and being on WYMT, there's a lot of options with it. So I think internships are invaluable because it does give you an idea to know yes or no if this is what I want to do. Anybody else?
So I'll speak to the side of the internship where I tried it and didn't like it. My internship was actually with a local attorney here in town. I really wanted to go to law school for a little while. To be honest, I didn't know what I wanted to do for a long time. But after I started, I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. But my internship was with an attorney, and he practiced multiple different types of law, but, he was a criminal defense attorney first and foremost, so I got to see some of Eastern Kentucky's most interesting people, I'll just put it that way. And long story short, I was able to learn through my internship, through the 6 months that I was working alongside him, that wasn't what I wanted to do definitively, so that really changed a lot of my career path once I finished up with that, which was a very good thing, because had I have not taken that internship and had I have not taken the time to go through court and everything, a lot of my professors remember I would come to class like dressed up because I had to go to court earlier that morning for my internship, and then I'd come into classes afterwards. But had I have not done that and realized that world wasn't for me, then I could have potentially gotten into law school and then really dug myself into a hole of something I just wasn't happy with. And instead, I was able to use that as an educational experience to pivot my career back towards something that I was really, truly passionate about. And I didn't just do something because I thought it was the right thing to do,
In a similar vein to what some people have already talked about, oh, hey, you're on time. I mean, for Mary Ann, this is on time. I did my internship at the Holler, which was a former professor here was doing an education media-based nonprofit, and that was located at the university for a short time. And I didn't end up working there, even though I wanted to. But the positive for me, especially of working there, was that one of the people working there at the time, Willa Johnson, is now the director of the film department at Apple Shop. And she remembered me 5 years later when there was a job opening, and that's how I got my job. And then she remembered how good I was at what I did. And then my current position at Apple Shop is not one that they just, there was an opening and they needed it filled. They looked at my skills and made a job for me around what I did and what they needed me to do. So sometimes your internship may not be as much about the job that you're at, but who you meet and who you work with. You want to talk about internships?
Yeah. So my name's Marianne Fletcher, and I would love to say that being late is totally out of character for myself, but it is exactly on brand. But what's even funnier is I thought it started at 11. So I thought I was going to be early. Like I said, my name's Marianne Fletcher. I was a fifth-year senior. I graduated in 2016 with a major in communication and a minor in film and media arts. I studied abroad. We did an experiential learning trip to Germany, and you guys are talking about internships. Well, so no matter what Chandra says, Chandra is always right. I wanted to be a meteorologist, and I said, I want to do this. And she said, I just don't think it's for you. And I was like, no, it's absolutely for me. And she was like, well, try it. Do an internship and see how you like it. after the first week, I was like, yeah, you were right. And I realized that I did not like sitting in a cold studio for 8 hours a day. I like to be out and to be talking to people and doing reporter things. Didn't mention, I was a TV reporter for WYMT, a CBS affiliate in Hazard, for 4 years. And that internship is what, I guess, brought me into that position, really. It taught me the inner and outer workings of everyday news cycles and really what I should expect, which is the unexpected. The internship really set the tone for the rest of my life, really. I realized I didn't want to be a meteorologist. I realized I wanted to be a reporter, and then it kind of just went on from there.
I learned that I had more capabilities in professional sales. I was an ad salesman for the Mountain Bargain Hunter for my internship. It was a paid internship, which was rare at the time. Yeah. My supervisor he was very experienced in ad or in professional sales, and he loved to teach. At first, I was not a huge fan of, but the more I got into it, I started to really enjoy the thrill of the sale. And now, as a insurance salesman, I use a lot of the tools not only that I gained from being able to speak to a broad base of people, but also use some of the tools that I was taught in that internship.
So my internship, like I mentioned, was at C-SPAN in Washington, D.C. Loved the place, did not like my internship. And it's okay if you get an internship, that placement that you're not happy with. I wanted to do the communications thing, go on the C-SPAN bus and travel all of the U.S. But instead they're like, you seem like an education person. We're going to put you in an office. It was great. I had my own cubicle and everything. So I had the office life for a little while. But I think it was more like the experience itself of getting to know other interns there, what their dreams are, and that they too didn't get the internship position they wanted. I think they just kind of drew like our names out from a hat or something. But the city itself was amazing. I made amazing roommates. I mean, we were ready. I was thinking here like 2020, it's my year. Yeah, it's my time to shine. And I already had like job interviews lined up. My roommates and I were already looking at apartments together. Then COVID happened, right? It kind of messed up everything. So everything just kind of didn't go to shambles because now I'm here. But I think another important thing that I learned while there was that representation matters. And I quickly learned that there's a lot of diversity in DC, but there really is not a lot of that here. And even my internship mentor spoke to me and was like, you know, you're taking a lot of guts to take this job out in Hazard, Kentucky. You're going to stand out. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know. But what matters is that some kid later on is going to be like, hey, yo, she did it. Then maybe I can do it too. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. It's been emotional for me in a weird way because it didn't occur to me until later where they're like, hey, you're the first Latina news producer in the entire Eastern Kentucky region. And I was like, wait, so what does that mean? Do I get a trophy or something? They're like, it won't matter to people now, but it will 50 years from now. I'm like, yo, what if I'm not alive? But I mean, like, take pictures now, okay? And also, like, for the organization that I work for, they've been up and running for 10 years. And again, I think I'm like their first minority, like, employee. But now it's like I'm having to go to these conferences, and they're just like, hey, if you can manage living in Kentucky, I can manage living in Kentucky. I'm like, of course, the more the merrier, okay? Come on over. So do the internship. You'll meet people from all over the place. And then even better yet, I love going on road trips, so I stop by and still visit. My roommates and I, we still go on yearly vacations together. So Cancun, Belize, everywhere you can think of. So yeah, it's more about the connections. What path? I would say there is no path. The first job you're going to have is probably not the one you're going to want. At least that's what happened to me. And it could also have been because it was during COVID. But what I can tell you, though, is that you can take the lessons from that first job and apply them to the job you eventually end up having. And listen to people. I always encourage people, if you're already going to go into the work field, get a mentor. Get someone who is already a high time roller up in the communications, wherever it is that you want to be. And they're more than happy to connect with you and be with you at every step of the way. And then also tell you, like, hey, you know what? I don't think that job is a good idea for you. You're only going to move sideways. If you really want to move up the hierarchy, take this instead. And it's constructive criticism. Don't take it personal. I'm a highly emotional person, so when people are like, hey, yo, you suck, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awful. I don't deserve this job. But it's know your worth too, right? It's more like your time is valuable. You will learn, and you will also learn many firsts, which for me was learning that your first contract doesn't have to be the first one to turn in. It's negotiable, and I wish I had listened to my mentor the first time.
She said it very well. I mean, and I think my job found me. I didn't go out looking for it. And every job, like I said previously, every job I've had, I've always seemed to have morphed it into something that would make it more interesting or more appealing or bring more of my characteristics and, my training, my experiences, my communication experiences into my job. So, I mean, when I'm saying I'm working at the police department, I handle the business side of the police department. That's a lot of numbers, that's a lot of reports, that's a lot of talking to people, it's a lot of personalities in one building, but it's also like, oh, well, we're serving the community. Well, we didn't really have a person in the department that could design a flyer, that could contact the media, that could write a press release, that could manage the social media, I became that person. So, and I've kind of taken little aspects of communication throughout all my job in local government. So I didn't really set out knowing, when I graduated, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I had no clue. And so I applied for the job at the paper, got it, and then I networked and wrote, article after article after article, and got to know people. And so it's just more like, there was literally no path for me either. I just landed here.
When you're a journalist, it's kind of like a toxic relationship. So for me, it's like I always knew this is what I wanted to do. In high school, I was editor of the school paper, and that kind of just kept growing and growing. And when I was actually working at the newspaper here while in school getting my degree. So for me, it was kind of like sealed. That's what I wanted to do. The curve for me was I took a couple of months off to work in the school system with a program called Gear Up, which works with kids, and they kind of help to counsel them and grades, attendance, all of that stuff. And I realized that wasn't for me. So I went back to journalism, but in broadcast. So for me, it was kind of like I knew this is what I wanted to do. So there was really no getting away from it. Like once you're in, you're kind of in, and when you leave, you miss it. So it's a very different thing for me. But I think the ability to know that if I do decide tomorrow, I could go to any of these places because I have that skill set, because I'm not a journalism major, I'm a communication major.
So for me personally, with my internship, kind of to reflect back on that, I worked as a sports reporter assistant at Mountaintop Media because I really thought I wanted to be a sports reporter because I enjoy, sports. And then when I got into that, I was like, okay, maybe I just enjoy watching sports and not actually reporting on it. So then I realized whatever job I landed, I wanted it to have a helping aspect attached to it because I'm very passionate about that. Also, to continue on from my own experience here, like having individuals who work here assisting me. I'm very passionate about giving back to the Appalachian region, especially first-gen students, because I was also a first-generation college student. And so I knew at the end of the day, I wanted the career path that I selected to have a helping aspect attached to it. So that's kind of where I landed within housing, like creating a home for students and just giving students the ability to realize that there's someone there who believes in them and meets them where they're at is important. So that's what I'm really passionate about.
I kind of forgot what the question was. Oh, okay. So this is really weird, but I actually majored in elementary education for 4 years. And then I ended up having to take a 5th year, and I picked up a minor in communication. It was just a minor, just to let me have the 5th year, yada yada. And then I was kind of freaking out because I didn't want to have to take a 6th year. And then Miss Massner was like, "Oh, pick up a major in communication." So I did that, and I took her PR class, and I kind of just already knew. It didn't feel like work to me. I just liked doing it. So, yeah.
We are out of time, and another class is going to need to use the auditorium. So please join me in thanking all of our panelists for traveling and coming today and sharing their stories.